Next, we have John Egan, who's an immigration lawyer here in Hawaii, doing good work every day for the people who are coming to our state.
Mahalo. Sorry about that. I'm working with one hand here tonight. Boy, this is a lot of information that's getting put out here tonight, and there's so much more. Every day we're getting new initiatives from this administration about immigration. I can't keep up. It's my job to keep up, and I'm swamped. But there are two things I want to tell you about tonight. The first one kind of comes from my own background. Before I trained as a lawyer, I was a humanitarian worker. I worked for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in South Central Africa. I have seen mass migrations before, and I kind of know how to deal with them. And that's the point, that there actually is a way to deal with mass migration. What's interesting is the level of dishonesty that this administration is addressing this issue with. That they're calling this a humanitarian crisis and an emergency, but they're not treating it like a humanitarian emergency or a crisis. They're treating it like it was a battle. Instead of sending humanitarians to the border, they're sending military people to the border. Well, you know, when you have a humanitarian emergency, who you gonna call? Well, humanitarians, for heaven's sakes, not the cavalry. And that's not what they're doing. And I just want to take one example to show you how off they are. They're losing children in the registration process. They're losing them. How do you lose children? Well, you can't lose children by accident because the tools are already there. Anybody who wants to can right now Google up the UNHCR website and go to their emergency registration pages, and you will find an order form for all of the materials and supplies you need to carry out an effective emergency registration. It includes those little plastic wristbands that are color-coded and bar-coded. And the computer system that registers each one of those comes as a laptop preloaded with the software program made by Microsoft back in 2007. This is not new stuff, 2007. So you get the laptop, you get the wristbands, you register the people in, you sign them up, and then you plug in the USB that connects to the little peripheral to take their fingerprints. And then you connect the other USB to the camera that takes their photograph. And then there's another USB that does iris scanning. And all of that is in packages in warehouses waiting to be deployed, along with the machine that sits on a tabletop just about the size of a little printer, and it creates those little plastic cards that have all that information embedded. And that's how you register people in emergencies. Why aren't they using any of that equipment down there? What's the matter with them? This stuff is sitting in warehouses waiting to be deployed, and they're not using it because that's not their intention. Cruelty is actually their intention. And the same goes for medical care. We have children, women, and men dying of treatable diseases because they haven't created a medical system to cope with the influx. So, well, how do you do that? Well, for heaven's sakes, ask MSF, Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. They have warehouses, 3 of them across the world. There's one in Dubai, there's one in Bordeaux, and there's one in Belgium. And they place their warehouses right next to airstrips so they can take the hospitals that are prepackaged in shipping containers and put them on the airplanes and set up a field hospital anywhere in the world in 48 hours, and within 72 have it staffed with physicians, nurses, and people who can do this kind of work. It's all prepackaged, it's ready to go. 72 hours, they're up and running with hospitals. If we're killing children down there, it's because we don't want to give them medical care. Same with water and sanitation. All that stuff is already there. It's prepackaged, got it, 3 minutes. That's my first point. It's already there. Why aren't they using it? Because that's not really what they're intending to do. It is their intention to make this a disaster. So, second point, exactly right. It isn't just down there at the border. The second thing I want to tell you is it's here in Hawaii. So they brought all these people in. They don't have the facilities to keep them. As we've heard, that what they do is they send those people, after they've processed them, to their nearest relative here in the United States. And then they send along with them a notice to appear in immigration court. Well, we didn't really think about it that much, but we have little pockets in some of the neighbor islands of Hondurans, of El Salvadoreños, of Guatemaltecans, and they're there, and they've been doing our agricultural work for quite a few years now. And what are they doing? They're picking that lovely little salad stuff farm to table that we love in the restaurants. They're picking the macadamia nuts. They're picking the flowers, the tropical flowers in the nurseries, and they're picking our Kona coffee. So those people have been here all the while, and now their relatives are being sent to them, and they're ending up in immigration court. Well, I have to tell you, Hawaii is not prepared. We don't have the resources right now to actually respond to that. So what I would like to tell people here tonight is the crisis is here, it's in Hawaii, and it's time we got organized and dealt with it. We have a group of people, we're organizing a hui here to do this, but you need to chip in. You need to spend some time volunteering. You need to find the people who can take the donations, like ACLU. I see Bettina Mock is here from the legal clinic. They've got an organization standing up to start doing good work for immigrants. For example, we also are looking at, well, my own Refugee and Immigration Law Clinic, but a really key one for people who are not trained as lawyers is, I saw Nicole Wu here earlier, the Harris Church has a sanctuary team, and they're doing accompaniment for these people. What do they need? They need volunteers who are willing to help these people get to their court hearings, get to their ICE check-ins. These people are coming from the neighbor islands. They need airline tickets. They're poor people. They can't afford to come back and forth 6 or 7 times to court. Let's chip in. Let's make sure that they can do that. The sanctuary team here is doing excellent work, and that's someplace everybody can check in. There's the news. It's not out there. It's right here. And hey, we're all ready to do something, I hope.